21st century. Doing something mean to it. Do it better than anybody you ever seen. Do it.
So hey, what's your name?
My name is Manny Yanko.
And do you consider yourself as a mentor or role model?
Every chance I get.
How so?
I mentor youth, and I'm just being a model and how to interact with people.
Are you currently mentoring kids now?
I actually am mentoring 2 kids now.
And how does that look for you? Like, how's that going?
It's a stretch. I get to connect with kids on such a wonderful basis where I'm modeling for them how to deal with conflict that comes up day to day in the natural development of teenage years, which is already can be hard.
How often do you connect with these kids?
Weekly.
Weekly? And growing up, did you have a mentor, role model?
I always had a role model, either negative or positively, but I always had a role model.
How so? Like, did you go look for it, or did it just come to you?
I was always the youngest kid in the crowd, and so they were always the other older ones that were willing to take me under their wings. Not always show me the right thing to do, but definitely there was always something that they gave me that was positive inside of, even if it was not the greatest lesson.
All right, cool. Well, you seem like a clean-cut guy, but you have a little edge to you. So, would you say you was a bad kid?
I got into my share of. I was socially challenged.
Explain socially challenged.
I got into some problems growing up. I came from a household where things weren't always easy, and it was a lot easier to be in the streets. And I had a lot of time on my hands to get into some trouble. And
so when did you stop getting into trouble? Like, when was your turning point?
My turning point, probably my late teen years, and I got an opportunity to participate in a youth program, and the same energies that I had that I was misusing for things that weren't so positive, I got to put into things that were constructive and really take a different route in terms of what I was creating.
Awesome. So if you could send yourself a message and tell a younger you something, what would be that one thing? If you can, just send a video back into the past.
If I could send a video back into the past,
what would you tell yourself?
My message would be that you are always good and complete.
Awesome.
My name is Preston. I'm 15, and I'm interested in becoming a lawyer. And I definitely feel like there's a disconnect between older mentors and us now, because I can't really find a mentor that's like a lawyer and knows about the field and will help me get into it and like find information about it and things like that. So there's a lot of pressure on my own. Now, I wish there was someone I could look up to and find like someone in the law field to help me get into it.
What kind of lawyer do you want to become?
I'm like stuck in between like a defense. Like I think I want to do defense, but then on the other end, I might want to be like a DA or something. So I don't know.
Hi, my name is Roderick. I'm 15. I like fashion, and there's like no role models for me that I could find out there to help me or guide me to get where I want to be when I grow up. Because I really want to be like a wedding designer, but then there's nobody that can give me like what to do, skills, and different types of stuff that I need.
So you said wedding designer?
Yes.
So you want to do design wedding dresses?
Yes. And
okay.
plan them out too.
And what school you go to?
Fashion Industries.
And what college do you want to go to?
FIT or maybe Hunter, I think.
Oh, okay. And you saying you're finding it hard to find role models or mentors and stuff?
Yes.
And if you were to have a role model or mentor, what would you want or expect from that relationship?
Somebody to help, like, find out what I need to know and what I need to get there. Like to become a fashion designer or a wedding planner.
Oh, you want to be a wedding planner as well?
Yes, like both.
Oh, okay, like event planning and designer. Okay, so you ready?
Yes.
So hi, Luna.
Hello.
Hi, so how do you feel about role models? Have you ever had a role model?
Growing up, I didn't have any role models, actually. I looked up to very powerful women. My role models at that time were people like, it's going to be funny, but, the old classic women like Betty Davis and Marilyn Monroe, and they weren't, your typical role model, for a gay man, I thought that was perfect.
There was a role model for you though.
Yeah, I mean, I learned a lot from watching old movies, and so I was interested in these women outside of what they did in Hollywood. So, like for an example, somebody like a Josephine Baker, who did a lot of wonderful things outside of her being on stage. Like she, helped with World War II, and she had a lot to do with race in Hollywood and Paris and in America and all the things that she had to go through, including Lena Horne was another one. So I looked up to a lot of, actually, realizing it now, it was really more of the women of color that were my heroes. And then later, my heroes, another one, Oprah, and then Princess Diana.
Do you think it was hard for young gay men or men in general to find male role models?
I believe so. I think because it was hard to find, powerful men who I could look up to and sort of like, I'm gay, he's gay type of. Yes, there are role models, like there are sports guys and stuff like that, but those weren't things that I was interested in. And we have RuPaul. In 1990, she came out and she was like a big superstar, and I remember that was a big deal back then. And before RuPaul, it was Sylvester. Mm-hmm. And before Sylvester, it goes on and on. So we always have that one person, but it's always what's the word? Yeah, I'll leave it like that.
Mm-hmm. Do you consider yourself a role model now?
Yes. I believe that I made a choice after discovering that I was infected with HIV, that I wanted to give voice to young people. And at that time, this was like 1986, there weren't young people that were doing the work. And so that's why I do a lot for young people, even till today. Like today, that's what I do. I work with young people and I celebrate young people for that reason. So I feel because I had a voice, that having a form of power and voice gives you that leadership that comes naturally for most of us. So.
All right, cool. Thank you, Luna. How's it going?
Going pretty good. How about you?
Good. Who are you?
I'm Jeremy Graves from Los Angeles, California, now living in New York City.
Welcome.
Hello.
So, what do you think about role models?
I think that role models are very important. They help you with your ideas, and they just inspire you to go out and do what you want to do. Having some good reassurance behind it.
Cool. So, do you have a role model?
Yes, I do have a role model.
In what field?
Well, it's a field of modeling, and it's a field and just life in general as a person.
And what do you learn from your role model?
I have learned that to never give up and do what you can do, no matter what kind of hardships or struggles there may be. If you set yourself destined to do something, you're definitely gonna do it. Just gotta stay focused and achieve it.
Oh, great. So do you consider yourself a role model?
Actually, I do consider myself a role model.
And do you have any mentees or young people that you connect with?
I don't have any. I won't say I have mentors, or not really mentees. My friends really ask me for a lot of advice, and being focused and driven and staying along the career goal lines they're in. So I will consider them.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And so, if you had to send yourself a message years ago, if you can do a video right now and blast this video to the past, what would you tell yourself, a younger you?
I would say you are so cool because you're doing this right now, and I love you.
Good, thank you.
No problem.
So, someone asked me once, how do I feel about being a role model? And I thought it was pretty interesting, given that I often search to see who my role models are. Now, there are people who I looked up to, in music and entertainment and things like that, who really inspired me, like Daryl Coley and others. But mostly, I love reading and different authors. But when I look to just to support people, one person comes to mind right now, a young man named Elijah, who's at Freeport High School, and seeing him sing and really see him as a different person, and having him know that he can do anything, and having him get it, inside of that conversation. And then with my nephews, who are like my four horsemen. It's Malik, Tony, Percy, and Cyrus. And I let them know often that if it wasn't for them being my role models, that I would be half the man that I am today. So it's wonderful to be able to encourage them and to let them know that they can be anything and do anything. And then being able to create that in examples of like doing HBO Deaf Poetry, singing, open for different people while performing, and then having the opportunity to, stand with them in their dreams. Like one person wants to be a doctor, another person wants to be a lawyer, and the world will look different from each one of them, but having them choose it for themselves. And I think sometimes, it's where people are looking for role models. I'm grateful to be able to look inside of my family for role models, but everyone isn't so, lucky or have the luxury of looking inside the family. And we didn't grow up like, sweet or sugary or whatever. It was hard, it was tough, but, my mother figured it out. And inside of her figuring it out, I had the chance to figure it out. And now I get to share that story with my nephews because there was no one before me to say, hey, you can do it this way. Until I began to look closer and deeper in my family and looked at all the scholars, all the intelligent, smart, brilliant people who are the same color as I am, and just are brilliant people. And then being able to share that vision with my nephews and with my nieces, it's a wonderful thing. Role models are cool and quite sexy.